EAL and Language Link. In recent years, the number of learners speaking English as an additional language in the UK has increased rapidly. With this diversity, it's not surprising that these learners should not be regarded as a single group that will all learn English in the same way. Like any population, they will vary in terms of their ability to learn and their experience and exposure to English. It's important to find out as much information as you can about EAL students when they join your school. Try to celebrate their culture and perhaps encourage them to teach the class some simple words or greetings from their language. You can use our EAL checklist to gather the information that you need. When communicating with families who don't speak English themselves, schools need to be resourceful. Buddying or mentoring from older students can work well. Both bilingual and monolingual students can be involved, as this helps promote an appreciation of cultural diversity. Although no longer required by the DfE, we believe it's crucial to consider English proficiency. When using Language Link, you'll be asked to use the descriptors. Being bilingual is a huge advantage for children and should be encouraged. The British Council have shown that bilingual students are likely to learn other languages more easily, giving them not only an academic advantage, but also an advantage socially and in their future employment prospects. In order to develop any language, you need to hear good models of that language. So it's important to encourage parents to continue to speak to their child in their home language. It'll be much easier for a child to learn a second language if their home language is well developed. Language Link was developed as a universal screening, assessment and intervention package for English-speaking children. It's easily adaptable for EAL students, but there are some things you need to think about. Don't start too soon. It's better to allow a settling-in period. If you assess too soon, you won't get an accurate picture and it may be too stressful for the child. You can still include EAL students in your whole class screen because the dynamic reports will update to include them. The assessment is carried out in exactly the same way, but you'll see different recommendations. You'll need to consider the results in the context of the child's level of proficiency in English. Language Link was standardised using data obtained from English-speaking children. The standard scores will compare the performance of the child you're testing with an English-speaking child of the same age. If a child scores an age-appropriate score on Language Link, this suggests that they have good understanding of English, and you can be pretty confident that they've no difficulty understanding in their home language. If a child scores poorly, you'll need to do a bit of detective work to establish whether that child has difficulties in their first language. The questionnaire on the EAL section of our website will help. If you're concerned about an EAL child's development of their home language, you should discuss this with your local services. Speech and language therapists should only be involved if the child is struggling in their home language. Language Link can't be translated. It looks at English language markers and wouldn't work in other languages. Remember, it only tests a child's understanding in English compared to an English-speaking child of the same age. It won't tell you anything about the child's understanding in their home language. To do this, you need to ask their family. You can use Language Link to track the child's progress with their understanding. It will show you areas of language where they're struggling and give you lots of resources and ideas on how to support the child's English. The general classroom strategies and resources recommended will benefit all children. Visual support is particularly important for your EAL learners. Remember, they have a more demanding task than English speakers. They're not only learning a new language, but they're learning the curriculum in that new language. They also need to learn social skills appropriate to their learning environment and develop their knowledge and understanding of values and culture, which may be very different from those that they have learned about at home. A nurturing, inclusive classroom helps them through this process and is the best way to support their learning and their second language development. That's why we recommend the best place for your EAL learners is in the classroom, surrounded by good models of English. Some schools routinely run small group interventions with their EAL pupils. If you decide to work in this way, you'll need to consider how to group your children. Remember, EAL learners should never be included in a group with English-speaking children with language delay. It should be clear to group members and the staff running them that the aim is to develop their social use of English. The themed language groups available for Year R and Year 3 can be adapted for exposure to basic English vocabulary and lend themselves to developing conversation. If an EAL learner is secure in their home language, you would expect them to make good progress with English after their first year in school. If they haven't, it might be time to start asking questions about their home language learning. If you're in any doubt, contact our help desk.